Good morning, Columbus. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's daily dose of digital inspiration here at SinaiStudios, Judaism Today. One thing that we all agree on about 2020 and 2021 is that it was a year of turbulence. I'm sure you, like me, saw those memes going around, about turning the page on 2020, when it will be 2021. That was just such a nightmare in so many different ways. From people whose lives were turned upside down by the pandemic, to people who lost loved ones from the pandemic, to people who were isolated. And there's been it's just created such a tremendous sense of anxiety. To the political moment which we live in, which is so intense, with such fierce partisan divides. And it just feels like we're living in such a difficult period. We're going through such tumult, such tumultuousness. And sometimes it's hard to decipher God's plan. Sometimes it's hard to understand what exactly God wants. And it's true, it is hard. I'm not here today to tell you exactly what God wants. But there's an incredible idea that the Ramban says, Nachmanides, that great 13th century Spanish scholar of Judaism. He says that all of life, every moment, every day, is nisim nistarim, is hidden miracles. Which means that although things look like they're just natural, things look like they're just happening, but that God is involved in each and everything. And the purpose of miracles, the purpose of something like the Exodus that we're all reading about now in these Torah portions, the purpose of the big, flashy, splashy miracles, no pun intended, the purpose of splitting the sea, the purpose of, pestilence and turning your staff into a snake, burning, all these incredible miracles, is to remind us that life is, in fact, hidden miracles. And from the great big miracles, the things where God's hand is clearly evident, we're meant to be reminded that all the little things in our lives are also the hand of God, because that's easy to forget. It's cliche that everything happens for a reason and everything comes from God, and that's true. And we talk about it, and you hear rabbis talk about it, and people, that's all true. But it's easy to sort of either pay lip service to it or not pay any service to it at all. Just forget about it, live life as if it's not happening. And the purpose of the Exodus is to speak to the moment that we find ourselves in right now. It's to speak to this time, to speak to you, to us, to all of us. And it's to remind us that if God does those big, flashy miracles, if God does those big, exciting things which are so clear, if God takes us out of Egypt, that means He's still involved and He cares. And that in truth, all of life is the same way, just sometimes under the radar, if you will. And so as we read these parshas in the Torah, as we read the story of the Exodus and the story of the plagues, and we head into Passover, we head into Pesach, it should be a moment of solace for us. It should be a moment of solace and comfort and calming and soothing, because we remember that it is God. We're reminded that it's God. And that is the point of all the miracles in the Torah. And every time you say Shema, and every time you kiss a mezuzah, and every time you say Kiddush, which all reference Zecher L'Tzias Mitzrayim, commemorating the Exodus of Egypt, that's the point. The point is to remind us that God is with us each and every day, every single moment, in the most turbulent of times, in the most calm of times, in the best of times, in the worst of times. And that's something that should carry us through.